Good afternoon. How are you today? Got on my winter hat. I'm ready for the cold and the wind, and we have a fair amount of both. We got some sunshine, and that's nice. Let's see. The two stories continue, of course, but there are other things going on. First of all, let's talk about the pandemic. Pfizer has a new at-home COVID vaccine. How about that? Of course, I haven't heard anybody talk about a booster, and Israel does have some sort of fourth stage that it's putting together that it's predicting everybody will be using. So we have that. Going to the Hill, in terms of the bromance between Biden and Manchin, there are still Democrats banging away at that, trying to make it, I don't know, happen or not happen. And it seems to me that there's a cloud over both parties. The Republicans, for holding their breath and not acting at all consistent with their oath or their responsibility to those who sent them there to represent them. And, you know, I'm not excluding the possibility that they would have conservative views that wouldn't support some bills. But supporting no bills, that's obviously a political tactic. Once before I said, years ago, we went from a policy of having elections and then governing to now we're 24/7 concerned about elections. We're always running for office. And so there was a statement by one member of the Liberal caucus that, hey, why should we defer ourselves to moderates or independents or to conservatives? Well, I don't agree with that. The situation is, in the past, and we're talking pre-Trump years and really, I guess, the Tea Party people, even before that, when we would come from diverse partisan directions and ideological spectra, and we would agree, we would govern on those things that we could agree on, and we would compromise on things that could be subject to compromise. You know, they weren't life or death, they weren't truth or lie, you know, they were things that we could agree to. And the Republicans won't have anything to do with that, and McConnell is the principal architect of that policy going back years now. And so that's one of the things we face. And the second thing we face is on the Democratic side. There appears to be this desperate resistance to compromise of any sort, given the subject line of the reform that is tied to, you know, the BBB, the, if you will, social stimulus package. And in the past, we would always find a way through that. So in the Senate, we would pick up some people. In the Senate, there wouldn't be cloture, all of those things. So that template is broken. We need a new template, and I don't see it coming soon, and I don't know that it'll come even during an election. But that's the challenge to America's governance. Otherwise, we're going to die of our own conflicting, disagreeable weight. Nothing else can happen to us. So, in the investigation on the Hill, talking about January the 6th, No Jacket Jordan has been summoned today, as I understand it, to come testify. And he has been ambiguous about the conversation or conversations he had with Trump on the day of the insurrection. And the committee also wants to know about conversations he had with White House staff and others before and after that event. We don't yet have a response from him as to what he's going to do, and I don't know the date that's going to happen. Again, January the 6th, Biden is going to speak to the nation on that day. Now, if we're going to do thoughts and prayers, we're not doing anything. If he's going to make announcements, action items, then that's something else. I have a public office, and we have really two sections to every agenda. One section is, you know, kind of progress and action item, not action items, progress as to what's happening, kind of reports. You know, what's in our treasury, things like that. How many widgets we're moving. But then there are action items, and it seems to me that January 6th is an event that if you're going to remember it, you have to remember it with an action. You have to, in my opinion, I mean, the biggest and most obvious objective is to say, I'm asking the Department of Justice to inquire into the findings thus far of the Select Committee on the January 6th insurrection, and to prosecute if that's appropriate, and to do all manner of appropriate investigation, because this nation is a nation of laws and of a constitution, and a law doesn't mean anything if you don't enforce it and coerce compliance with it or punishment for failure to follow it. Not difficult, seems obvious. I'm afraid we'll get some Midland speech. I'm sorry, Joe, but Fighting Joe doesn't fit here if you don't do something on January the 6th besides just say thoughts and prayers for those who suffered. Not enough. Then what do we have? We have Chuck Robb had a fire at his house. When I ran for Congress a million years ago, he was supportive, and I've supported him, and the last time I was at his house, it was his last campaign, and he gave each of us who had helped him some little trinket to remember him, and I still have it. So I'm very sorry for it. He's 82 now, and nobody should have to deal with a fire at 82. They haven't investigated, and they don't know what it's about. So there we are. As for returning back to the Hill, think about it. If we don't act soon and we lose the midterms, do you think for a minute that McCarthy's going to continue the investigation of January the 6th? Do we have a plan B? Apparently not. Are we going to ride this thing up to the last minute to the election, thereby making it more easily referenced as a political investigation? Whereas, if we have a prosecutor investigating it, well, we're in a different place. The prosecutor continues no matter what happens in the midterms, and is probably safe at least until the presidential election, and after that, if Biden or the Democratic nominee continues in office. So those are my observations about the day. Get out in this brisk weather. You'll enjoy it. All the best. Bye-bye.